Morning, dudes. Yes, I have an epic mustache. I'm going all in. So, a couple things that I wanted to update you on, and then we're getting into the main topic of the quick video here. I put a new edge on the Civivi Vision. I forget the letters. RT, something like that. I did a cut test with this knife, and the edge retention was not really up to par with what I was expecting from Nitro V. Nitro V isn't really super good at all with edge retention compared to like what I'm used to, super steels. But it's decent for a budget knife, but it just didn't quite hold an edge like I wanted it to or was expecting it to. So I put a brand new edge on this with my work sharp. It's real nice and sharp now, and we're gonna do the cut test again. I'm thinking maybe the edge was burnt, possibly. Maybe it was just a bad edge, you know, who knows? But we're gonna eliminate that possibility by, I widened out the bevel a little bit, and just fixed it. It's you know, real nice and even now, and we're gonna do another cut test with it, so that should be coming tomorrow or in the next couple days. You'll see it. It'll be a redo with this new edge, and we will see. So, main topic of the video. I did a video on the Benchmade Narrows, calling it a pile of garbage, and that is still my stance. My stance has not changed at all. Today I wanted to just kind of compare this knife to a much, much better knife, the TRM Shadow. These two knives are similar in a lot of ways, but first let's run through the narrows here really quick. This is a $522 knife from Benchmade. Featuring M390 blade steel, titanium scales, crossbar lock, and clip, regular steel clip. It is unbelievably thin, the thinnest knife I have ever seen or handled. It's actually thinner than the pocket clip. Pretty crazy. I hate this knife for a few reasons. The price is way too high for what you're getting. It's extremely thin, which is a good thing in the blade because it's going to be nice and slicey. But in the handle, not so good because it is very uncomfortable to grip onto for you know, any kind of amount of time. A few quick cuts, yeah, it's fine. But if you're grabbing this thing, pushing through cardboard, or doing any kind of real extended cuts, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable to grip onto this thing. Not only the thinness, but this is just a bad shaped handle. The way it kind of comes down right here feels weird. It doesn't feel good in hand, and I also think it would look better too if this was just kind of straightened out a little bit and just came kind of more straight back here. But anyways, the detent is you know, it's a crossbar lock, so it's not going to have super snappy action. That's just how they are. Same thing with the Shadow. I can get it to pop out if I just try. You know, it's fine. If you just try, it's going to pop out. Not with any kind of like crazy force or anything, but it'll pop out. But as you can see, it's super easy to fail it as well. I hate this knife so much. It's a $522 piece of garbage. Nobody wants a knife this thin. Sure, maybe they were thinking, oh, let's just see if we can do it. Sure, but just do it by yourself. Don't release it to us. They found a way to sell you a knife with just the liners and no scales, pretty much. Now, one kind of impressive thing, maybe, that I noticed is, you see we have these pockets here, which are for weight relief, I guess, and looks. I think they look horrible. It looks like they just forgot to put inlays in there or something. But they do help with the weight. Now these pockets are mirrored on the inside, only they're deeper on the inside. Let's see if I can show you. Kind of see right there. And they're a little deeper on the inside. So that means that this surface right here must be very thin. If you know we're coming down on the top and we're coming in from the bottom, this surface must be pretty darn thin. So that's kind of cool. I mean, they probably had to. I mean, it's a milling machine, so it's gonna do it. That's the only kind of cool thing. Is I wonder how thick this is right in here. It's probably really thin. Anyways, a much better option is the TRM Shadow. These are sometimes kind of hard to get, but they do drop periodically, fairly regularly, so as long as you just keep trying, you will get one. And really anything from TRM I think is miles and miles and light years better than this. But today we're talking about the Narrows because they're similar. They both have crossbar locks. They're around the same size. The blade shape's a little different, but you know, both thumb stud action knives. Now this is $280, which for some people, I think most people would say that seems like a lot for G10 and the blade steel is 20 CB. But once you know what I know, it totally makes sense, and I would pay that again and again and again to get this knife. There are so many little really cool things about this knife. The most obvious probably is that pivot. Look at that. Just beautifully milled, very intricate pivot. And you can see there's actually two kind of faint lines going this way. That's to give it a little bit of contour because these scales are contoured. So the pivot has to be contoured as well. Just really cool. They're thicker back here than they are right here. So it kind of tapers down this way. And so it just feels so good in your hand. The crossbar lock, little tabs are much easier to grab onto. They're a little small on this. I've never like slipped off of them really. I mean, they're fine. They're easy to grab onto, but they're definitely not as like intuitive as these. These you can feel with gloves on, even really thick gloves. You can feel those tabs and grab them and pull them down. Now, blade stock thickness, pretty much the same. I believe I measured the Narrows at 0.08 and the Shadow at 0.09. So very, very similar. Not even a noticeable difference as you're cutting with them. So these both are going to slice really well. The Shadow, however, is going to slice a little bit better. Number one, because it's almost a full flat grind. At least, you know, the bevel is much wider than on the Narrows. And that's really the main factor. But also we have a broader blade, so there's more time for it to get from, you know, the 0.09 all the way down to whatever it is right behind the edge. As far as thicknesses behind the edge, I haven't measured the Narrows, but they feel very similar. They feel very similar as far as thickness behind the edge. So these should both slice really well. I'd say the Shadow is gonna slice better. Ergonomics, the Shadow wins absolutely every time. I mean, it's just way more comfortable. There's the difference in handle thickness. I mean, just looking at that, which do you think is going to be more comfortable to grab onto? This one. Also, it has a choke-up spot. Really, really, really comfortable choke-up spot. Roomy. Super roomy. This does not. The sharpening choil and plunge grind is done poorly. You can see it's starting to get thick all the way up to like right there. So you do have a little bit of life, but they could have made that much better. Sharpening choil here. It's kind of hard to tell where it starts getting thick, but it's right around right there. So much more room, kind of where my fingernail is. Much more room, much more just roomy in here for to give you just ease of sharpening. So ergonomics, it's got it beat. Sliciness, it's got it beat. I would much rather have TRM's 20CV than Benchmade's M390, although those blade steels are pretty much the same thing. TRM, I know, does very good job with their heat treatments, and Benchmade is known for sometimes not doing so great. I've had a few experiences myself with Benchmade where I had chipping and rolling happening where it shouldn't have. But TRM is they're known for nailing their heat treatments, and I can tell you that this 20CV holds an edge better than I think any other 20CV I've tried, or M390. It holds an edge like nobody's business. It's nuts. So edge retention, got it beat. The clips. We have a titanium clip on the Shadow. We have a regular steel clip on the Narrows. The clips themselves, as far as how they work, about the same, really. This is the same clip that comes on the Bug Out, and I actually really like it. It works well. It's short, which I like. It's not this like obnoxiously long clip. The Shadow, however, has it inset into the G10. While the Narrows does not. Does not have it inset in there, and they're using these button-headed hardware rather than flat hardware, which the Shadow is. So, another point for the Shadow. Gosh, what else, man? It's pretty much got it beat in every single way. Both are using T6s for the body screws, which, I would have liked to see T8s on both, but what are you going to do? What else? What else? I like the blade shape on the Shadow better. Much better. It's a decent looking blade on the Narrows here. I don't know why they didn't do a higher bevel here, or maybe just a full flat grind. I think would have looked a little better. I think the swedge looks nice. The stone washing is nice. Let's compare the stone washing, actually. Very similar. Very similar, actually. On the Narrows, it might be a little bit more reflective, or is it just where it is? Hang on. Yeah, the Narrows might be a little bit more reflective of a stonewash, but they both look really nice. Benchmade decided to put their website on the blade here, right under the M390, which is absolutely atrocious and incomprehensible. I have no clue why they feel the need to do that. It bugs me so bad, so much, and it's just awful. I'm not going to get into it, but it's just unbelievable. Gosh. Shadow, all the way. All the way. Better ergos. Better blade steel. Better clip. Better blade shape. Slicier. All those other things that I already mentioned. Doesn't have a website on the blade. Looks better. I think looks way better. Inset pocket clip. Easier tabs to grab onto for the crossbar lock. Yeah, anyways. Benchmade, I hate this knife so much. If someone gave me one for free, gave me a Narrows for free, I would love to do like a torture test on it and just beat it up. That would be so much fun. I don't know. Yeah, anyways, this is an awful knife. This is kind of the last video I'm going to do with it because it's getting sent off to the next reviewer. But I wanted to make one more video on it, just telling everyone how bad it is. I think for some reason, I feel like some reviewers are kind of kissing Benchmade's ass with this thing and not being brutally honest with their feelings on it. And that's just a guess, I suppose. It's what it seems like is happening in some cases. I can't imagine anyone being a huge fan of this knife. It doesn't make sense to me how you could be. But you know, it's possible. People have different tastes. You know, that's fine. But I do know that a lot of people really dislike this knife. Just judging from my comment section and comment sections and other videos on the Narrows, most people really dislike this knife. So I'm not sure why reviewers aren't being more like brutally honest with how bad it is. And some are for sure. But there's just a few are like completely in love, like super like the knife, but that's the minority. Most are like, yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe not for me, but it's pretty good. No, it's not pretty good. It's awful. It's horrible. It sucks ass, dude. Alright, that's it. That's it. I wish I could do a cut test with it. But I can already guess. It'll cut well, for sure. Ergonomically, like gripping the knife, pushing it through that thick cardboard, I think is gonna not be fun. But that's it. Love you guys. Please like the video before you head out. I would appreciate it. And I will see you soon.